So, APA style. So communication as a discipline uses the American Psychological Association style for citations and papers. Most of you guys are probably used to using MLA because that's what English uses, and typically when you're writing, you're doing an English class, right? You might use Chicago in political science or history, or you might use MLA. But if you are in psychology, if you are in sociology, communication, then you will be using APA. So for this class, we use APA. And this research assignment helps us get familiar, well, helps you guys get familiar with the American Psychological Association style. So if you guys took my speech class, you will recognize this. Please do not turn in exactly the same one that you turned in last semester or the semester before. So you guys are picking a topic. I would suggest picking a culture that you are interested in, that you might want to do for your ethnography, because this will help you get started in that research process of, you know, what kind of culture am I going to be investigating? And you might actually be able to find some really good sources here at the beginning that will help lead you into starting your paper. Because the sooner we get started on this, the longer we have to do it, and therefore the less stress you guys have looking at the calendar saying, you know, this paper is due April 21st or whatever it is. You know, I only have 3 weeks to write it. No, the sooner we get started, the more you guys can have done. So you see those deadlines and you're like, I am kosher because I already have 6 pages of it written. So topic, so for me, I might choose, you know, the Czech Republic. So, and then I'm going to do some research, and I need to find 3 resources that seem interesting to me or seem like they would be good sources. And then I'm going to cite them in APA style and make sure they are in alphabetical order. So whenever you do your references, they need to be in alphabetical order, meaning, you know, A, B, C, D, whatever. Or if it starts with a number, numbers go before letters. So the easiest way to go about doing this is go to eac.edu/academics/library. And we can either go to the catalog or the easy search or the libguides. I'm going to go to the easy search. And I am going to type in Czech Republic culture. Or I'm going to type in, you know, Kenya culture or whatever. You can also do a different topic. You know, it's up to you. I just suggest starting looking at a culture or a language or something to just kind of help you get on the right track for your paper. Okay, so here is a full ebook online about pop culture and subculture in the Czech Republic, post-socialism. So that might be kind of interesting. So I'm going to click on that, and, you know, maybe I just want to read a chapter of it or whatever. But thanks for exploring my session, ProQuest. But whatever it is, you know, if I want to use that, then I'm going to go over here to the little quote buttons on the side, and I'm going to say cite this item. And I'm going to go to the drop-down list of APA. And there it's going to pull up my APA citation. So this is okay, but since it is an online resource, I do need to add its DOI number, or I need to add the link that I retrieved it from. So let me go to Word. Actually, let me just download this. So make sure I am shared on this. Okay. So if I'm doing Czech Republic, you know, my first citation, what is this one? So this is Andre as the last name. So I'm going to give it its hanging indent. I'm going to make sure that it is in italics for the title. And then I do need to add where I have retrieved it. I mean, I guess since a book, I could leave it, but I'm probably just going to share the link to the book and say, you know, retrieved from here, so that people know it's an online resource that is easily accessible. And boom, there's one of my citations done. Actually, maybe that's, but we need to double check that. Okay, nope, that's fine because Daniel is his last name. So maybe I want to look at how women are treated in the Czech Republic. So I would do the same thing, I'd cite it, but maybe I don't want a full ebook. Maybe I want a magazine article. So maybe I want to talk about Czech music. So as part of their culture, then I'm going to cite it, drop down APA, double check that it's last name, first initial, year, title of the article, magazine or journal, pages, and then I need the retrieved from. Actually, I think this might have updated to APA 7, so heck, you might not need that anymore. We'll check. But that is a V, so it is going to go down below. Come on. No, I want you to paste. And then I don't know why it keeps doing that. And then, of course, you'll do your hanging indent. You will double check your italics. And then, once again, we are just going to make sure that we have the source and say, okay, this is where it came from. And then I think the easy proxy server might be down as evidence of this. Yeah, so ProQuest is up, but it looks like easy proxy for this other stuff might be down. But we can still get the permanent link from there and still say retrieved from. Oh gosh, that's a real ugly link. But sometimes that's what it is. So and then after you get your 3 sources for that, you're going to answer a couple questions. So what is something you already knew from the reading? So maybe I already knew about some of the subcultures in the Czech Republic. So they actually have a pretty decently sized subculture of people who climb chimneys in the Czech Republic. The union is Svaz Českých kominárů, which is the Union of Czech Chimney Climbers. But that is definitely a subculture. So if they talk about that in that book, I would say I already knew about this particular subculture. You know, what is something I learned? Maybe I learned something about the role of women in, you know, Czech society, or I learned something about Czech music and how they use that. What was something that was surprising? Was there anything in here that raised other questions that you might want to pursue? So any facts or information that you're like, well, this was kind of cool, I'd like to look more into that. And then your biggest takeaway or how you could apply this knowledge. So could you apply this in your ethnography? So if you're looking at the Czech language, how are we going to be able to apply this to our ethnography? Or it's like, okay, well, we're doing a language presentation. So how can we apply it to that? Or our biggest takeaway. So it's like, I learned something about this culture, or this is why I think that they do these things this way because of what I learned from that. But here are some APA, I want to go to that, kind of style guides for you to double check your citations. So this is the 6th edition. I don't care if you use 6th or 7th of APA. They're pretty close to being the same. I think the 7th got updated so that you might not have to do that, but you probably still do. But the basic format is last name, first initial. So you know how in MLA you have to do like full first name and last name? In APA, it's just last name, comma, first initial, period, and then your date. So if you have a year, then you would just use the year. Or if you have a more specific date, you would use that. So maybe 2009, January 23rd. And then your title. So your title of article. And then if you have a larger publication, then that'll go in italics. So maybe my title of my article is called The Guide to the Czech Republic for Americans. And it's published in Travelers Weekly. You would have your volume number and then your edition, I believe. You might not always have that. And then your page numbers. So like 23 to 45 or whatever it is. And then retrieved from link. And that's if you have like a magazine or journal article. For like a website or whatever, it's similar. So let's see, we're gonna get it out of Microsoft Edge because if I can spell. So if I'm just looking at, a regular website or whatever, what if it doesn't have an author? What if it doesn't do whatever? Let's find out. So if we're just getting some basic general information, okay, great, nationsonline.org. Let's see if this has an author. Does not look like it. So if we have no author, then we do the title first. So this is just Czech Republic. Then we say, does it have a publishing date? Nah. Well, that says 2018 was the last copyright. So we could possibly use that, or we could just say no date. So if there's no specific date listed, we just go ND for no date. What's the larger publisher of this? Nations Online. And then we retrieved it from whatever that link was. So pretty straightforward. Because if you don't have an author, then you'll have a title. But then if you had the author, then you'd obviously put that first, then the date, then the title, so on and so forth. So, is that making sense so far? What's up? Volume and edition. But if you cite it through the website here, it'll do that automatically for you. So if you just go here, cite button, APA, see you have like volume 11, edition 1, or edition 11, volume 1, whatever it is. I know which order they go in, but I can never remember which one's which. I bet that's John Clegg chiming in with saying, tell me I'm going. This is due on the 31st. So So you guys have like 5 days to get this done. And then we will have our, oh, was I even sharing? I was sharing the wrong screen. Sorry guys for the people who were looking at the wrong one the entire time that I was doing this, my fault. So yeah, cite it, APA, do that. And then if you have like a website that doesn't have an author like this one or a specific date, then use the title and then ND for no date. And then when you're in text citing, so I think the new one just has you do, if I can spell. I think APA 7 has you do that, and then APA 6, I think you add quotes around the title. But it's up to you guys, whichever one you want to do. Or it would be, if you have an author, then it would be last name and date, last name, no date. So do you guys have any questions about that so far? Let me see. Screenshot it. But yeah, I'll get you guys that pattern, but it's also here in, like, you have the resources in here. And then if you guys go to announcements as well, let me just make sure. Okay, yeah, I'm still on the right screen. If you go over to announcements, if you go to this ethnography outline, you guys have everyone has access to look at this. And this is, a super basic outline of an ethnography with some different samples of references styles. So this is an article with no author, but a date. So it doesn't have quite the full link on it, so we'd have to like fix that or whatever, but close enough. And then like this one is the citation for a video. Because if you are on here, you can say, okay, I want to watch a video about the Czech Republic or whatever it was. Because maybe you're not a super strong reader, or you like the visual so that you can write about the things that you see. You can click on a video and you can cite those too. So auto cites it for you. But you just have to click on that streaming video or whatever kind of content type that you wanted. Where is that? So, but you guys can feel free to use this outline, check it out. Use the basic style of the references, and then, if you guys have questions, we can add more to this outline if you have like specific ones about how do I do this particular thing. When you do your interviews, you don't actually put those in your references, you just put them in text. So if I interviewed, Demi, I'm not going to have her in my references below. It's just going to be in text, Demi Hauser, personal communication, and then whatever date that I talked to her on. So, January 27th, 2021. And you will have to have a minimum of 3 of those interviews. Or if it's an email, it would be an electronic communication. So you talk to them through email, electronic communication, rather than like Zoom or whatever of a personal communication. Talk to them on the phone, personal communication. So what are our questions so far from that? None so far? And the good thing is you guys just have to be able to recognize, is this format, is it in author, year, title, publication, and then DOI/retrieved from. And then if you can say, yes, it's in that order, then we're good. If something doesn't look quite right or something's out of order, then you can always shoot me an email and say, hey, how would I fix this? I can't figure it out or whatever, and I'm happy to help you. So is everyone pretty confident on this research assignment now that we've talked about it? It shouldn't take you very long because we do have that auto cite function, but just go and double check and then go through and answer the questions, which should be pretty straightforward. It's just saying, okay, can you find research? Can you find it and put it into APA style? So that way, no one has any excuse of saying, well, I don't know APA style when we actually get to the paper. It's like, we've done assignments over it. We've talked about it. You should be at least familiar with it. So. Okay, what other assignments are coming up here real soon? Oh yeah, I should probably mention this because that's next month. So yeah, that's way too soon. Okay, so two other things I want to mention as well. So don't forget we have our discussion due here, I think Friday night for week 1, and then February 3rd. So next Wednesday, we have our second week 2 discussion. I might need to put that on to, actually no, because that'll be in the middle of week 3. So, but which one of the 6 imperatives is most relevant to you? Which is our peace imperative, self-awareness, those ones. Identify a code of conduct or ethical principle that represents your personal culture and compare and contrast it with another code from a different culture. So how do these 4 building blocks of communication, of intercultural communication, interplay or affect different interactions? And then post a clip of a movie that shows stereotyping, discrimination, or prejudice, and explain how it is showing that. So for those of you who don't watch a lot of TV, like me, you might have a little bit trouble with that. So just try to find one that kind of best fits that. Or you can use like a music video and stuff, because music videos are full of stereotypes about different groups, right? And then one thing to kind of start thinking about too is that we have our language presentation coming up. Probably that second week of February, I will give you guys this presentation so you kind of know what I'm looking for as you start to put yours together. But pick the language. I would suggest, I'm not saying it's required, but like start figuring out which culture you want to do so that when you do the language presentation, your research that you do for this can double as research that you use for your ethnography, because you can do a section in your ethnography about the language that they speak. So, and then there's the little speech rubric for that. So, okay. Oh, I guess on Friday. Oh, I guess on Friday I probably need to do our week 2 lecture before we do our review. Ugh. A Okay, can we take like a 3-minute break so you guys can all get a drink of water, so I can get a drink of water, and then we might start this, but seems like everyone might need a couple seconds to get up and stretch their legs. All right, so we are going to take a break here real fast and come back in a couple minutes, all right?